So you're not really saving money. Oh, by the way, the Giants are still $5.2 million over the salary cap, and they have to get under the salary cap by Tuesday. So there's going to be restructures there because Dave Gettleman's an idiot. Kenny Golladay, they're going to have to restructure his deal. They're going to have to find a way to do that. I don't know how you're going to do that, but you're going to have to do it. Good morning, NFC East. Happy Friday. Happy Labor Day weekend. Once again, my name is Jeff Kerr. I can't believe the first week is wrapping up of this show. And you guys have been great the entire week. Love you guys in the comment room. Love the reviews we're getting on this show. It's going to be a fun week next week because we actually get football. We're going to preview NFL games next Friday. I'll probably be ranting about the Los Angeles Rams and the Buffalo Bills, and I'm sure that's going to be a great game. But the NFC East had some news yesterday, a lot of news. The New York Giants, I felt like I neglected them on Thursday's show because they didn't do anything. Like it was weird for the Giants. They kind of just had their 53-man roster, and that was it. Nothing big happened. I almost said Joe Judge here, and Joe Judge isn't the coach anymore, but I'm going to blame him for stuff anyway. I'm going to blame Dave Gettleman for stuff in a second. But really, all that happened this week in New York was they had their 53-man roster, and Brian Dable talked. Well, yesterday Joe Shen talked, and there was some kind of a shocker in New York yesterday. The Giants got Blake Martinez. Blake Martinez obviously came off an ACL injury. If you're a fantasy football guy like myself and play individual defensive players, Blake Martinez was a fantasy football guy because all he did was tackle people. Not saying he was a good linebacker, but he make a lot of tackles. And yeah, that was kind of surprising to me. The Giants cut him because I thought not like he'd be a perfect fit for Wink Martindale's defense. That's their new defense coordinator. Obviously came over from the Baltimore Ravens. Good hire, by the way, for the Giants. It just didn't seem to fit. So really what happened was Martinez was supposed to be starting Mike linebacker, and he wasn't really getting the reps in camp. The Giants called it a mutual parting. It wasn't a great fit, but he did have 151 tackles 2 years ago. One of the best tackling linebackers in the league. He's going to find work. I don't know who's going to want him right away. I mean, he's going to get his looks. I don't know how he'll fit in Washington with Jack Del Rio. But the Commanders could be a team to look out for there because they're so thin at linebacker. I mean, they just brought John Bostic back. I think they only have 4 on their 53, if I'm not mistaken, 4 linebackers on their 53-man roster, and that's their weakest position. So the Commanders could use a guy like Blake Martinez. Not exactly the best cover linebacker in the world, and I think that's where he gets in trouble because you need coverage linebackers today. It's tough, but I kind of want to blame Dave Gettleman for this. Actually, I don't kinda. I do. I do want to blame Dave Gettleman for this. He put the Giants in salary cap hell. What a terrible general manager, by the way. Didn't believe in computers. Probably doesn't believe in YouTube. I mean, he admitted he pretty much hates analytics. Every single bit of it, which you need today because, he's a ground and pound. 3 yards of the cloud of dust. Big Ten, old school football. That's Dave Gettleman for you. He's a man's man, Dave Gettleman. Well, the man's man sucked at his job. And the Giants are paying for it. And Brian Dable and Joe Shen have to have a terrible first season because of what Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge did not do. The Giants only saved $200,000 by cutting Blake Martinez, who restructured his deal, by the way, because the Giants were in salary cap hell. So you're not really saving money. Oh, by the way, the Giants are still $5.2 million over the salary cap, and they have to get under the salary cap by Tuesday. So there's going to be restructures there because Dave Gettleman's an idiot. Kenny Golladay, they're going to have to restructure his deal. They're going to have to find a way to do that. I don't know how you're going to do that, but you're going to have to do it. he's one of the guys I think Joe Shen's target to restructure a deal. And Joe Shen said they're going to have to restructure contracts. They just can't cut people. I'm looking at guys that are candidates to restructure. Leonard Williams, remember the Giants gave him a big deal because they didn't want to lose him in free agency a couple years ago. He's going to have his deal restructured probably. That'll save him a lot of cap space. But they are $5.2 million over the salary cap. It's the worst. It's the highest in the NFL. And they stink. This is what Joe Shen and Brian Daboll need to fix. And they're doing a good job of that so far. But this is going to be a brutal, brutal year for the New York Football Giants. You have a quarterback who isn't any good. Not like he really has anybody to throw to anyway. They almost traded Darius Slayton. They say Darius Slayton's going to be there week one. So they're not trying to trade him. Even though they'd save $2.3 million by getting rid of him. They're going to keep Darius Slayton, which is good. I think that's a good move for them. But you're looking at the Saquon Barkley. Is this it? In New York? You can't sign him back, right? Even if he has a big year. If Saquon Barkley has 2,000 all-purpose yards like he did his rookie year, he's getting paid. Are Giants can do it? I doubt it. They're going to have to look elsewhere. Saquon will be fine. He's a good NFL running back when he's healthy. Boom or bust. But, again, Daniel Jones is a lame duck quarterback. Saquon Barkley's a lame duck running back. Kenny Golladay isn't the player you saw. Wendell Robinson, from the kid from Kentucky, I like him as a wide receiver. I think he's a good part of their future. Evan Neal is going to be a very good tackle in this league. So there's hope here. Kayvon Thibodeau, when he gets back from his knee injury, I think him and Aziz Uzari, I can never pronounce his name, Aziz Uzari, I believe that's how you say it. They are going to be good bookend edge rushers for this team for a long time. There's hope in New York because of Joe Shen and Brian Daboll. And Brandon Brown, who is the assistant GM, used to be with the Eagles. But Dave Gettleman, oh my God, I kind of wish we had this show last year so I could just complain about Dave Gettleman and make fun of Dave Gettleman every single day. I hope that man never gets another general manager job. I don't care if he's in football, but he did not help himself in New York. And some Giants fans actually thought Dave Gettleman was a good general manager. I don't get it. If you're an NFC East fan and you don't like the Giants, you were hoping Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge were there forever. I can't believe they're allowing Joe Judge to call plays for a young quarterback or to help develop a young quarterback in Mac Jones. I pity Mac Jones. I can't believe Joe Judge is doing this. This is why I am not as high on Bill Belichick as I once was. I never thought Bill Belichick was like the GOAT per se because he had the Patriot way was Tom Brady. The Patriot way's in Tampa. But I always gave Bill Belichick his due. But now you're seeing what type of coach Bill Belichick really is without Tom Brady. And he's still arguably the greatest defensive mind in the history of football. But you're seeing overall, as a head coach, you need the quarterback. And he might have that in Mac Jones. But you can't have Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, who also can't coach. Especially, the guy gave up 41 points to Nick Foles in the Super Bowl defense. So, yeah, you know what? Let's just flip him over on offense and we'll try some play calling. I don't get what they're doing in New England. I don't get it. Bill Belichick's living off 6 Super Bowls right now. He's living off being pretty much a jerk. Not saying he's a jerk, period. But he's a jerk to the media at times. Or I think he enjoys it personally. I actually do like going to a Bill Belichick press conference or being on a Zoom call. Because I think he's hilarious when he gives you the one-liners and all that. And you can get him to talk. It's just you got to ask him a smarter question. I digress, though. What Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge did for the New York Giants is atrocious. And they probably won't be good till 2024 at the earliest as a result because they got to find their franchise quarterback. They may need to replace Saquon Barkley. They probably will anyway because you see how running backs are. They need to fix the wide receiver position. They need to fix the tight end position. They're getting better in the trenches, which is the biggest part, but they need help at linebacker. Since Blake Martinez has been cut, Micah McFadden, the fifth-round rookie from Indiana, is probably going to start the mic. Again, the Giants are rebuilding. They're trying to rebuild, which is good. I like that. Probably what they should be doing anyway, but I just don't understand why you get rid of a good player like Blake Martinez, even if he wasn't a fit. But you got to save some money somewhere, even if it's only $200,000, and give him an opportunity to play. Austin Calitro, I think that's how you say it. He was in training camp with the Eagles a long time ago. I want to say it was 2016, 2017. He's still around. He's going to be there. He made the Giants 53-man roster and have a good preseason. So that's pretty much the gist of the whole Blake Martinez thing. Yeah, Blake Martinez wasn't a fit, but Dave Gettleman did this. Dave Gettleman's stain is still hurting the New York Giants in 2022. And he's been gone for 8 months. Dak Prescott. He talked yesterday. Dak's a confident guy. He's a quote machine, too. I kind of like that because it helps this show. Dak Prescott, here's what Jeff Kerr, Rob Ellis, who's my guest at 720, by the way. Basically, anybody who has an opinion on the Dallas Cowboys, yes, even Skip Bayless, to an extent, say how they're going to take a step down this year. Dak didn't like that. Dak wasn't too happy. Dak tells us to keep talking because the Cowboys are ready to prove doubters wrong. Harmless. Nothing wrong with that. I don't mind Dak saying that. Confident guy. I like Dak. Never got to interview him, but I like him. Think he's a good guy. Sometimes I wish Dak would just, okay, in one ear, out the other. I think he listens to us a little too much. Will the Cowboys prove doubters wrong this year? He might, because he's a really good quarterback. I don't know if Ezekiel Elliott will. His yards per game dips every year. But you're about to sign Jason Peters. You're bringing him in for a visit. You need help on the offensive line. Your left tackle fits Dallas, honestly, pretty well because he gets a lot of penalties, Tyler Smith. Good run blocker. I don't know if he can protect you all year, Dak. Tyron Smith ain't coming back to December. I'd feel a lot better about your football team if Tyron Smith was on it. So now, defensively, I think Cowboys are going to be pretty good. I got to be honest with you. I think they're going to be pretty good. Lane Van Der Esch just had a good camp. You got Micah Parsons there. Micah Parsons, I'll tell you what Dallas wants to do right now. They want Micah Parsons to rush the passer. They want their defensive line's already pretty good. They want Micah Parsons to just go balls to the wall against the quarterback. They do. They want Micah Parsons to sack the quarterback a lot. Micah Parsons thinks he can get the sack record. I think he's going to come close. I think he's going to get more than 15 sacks this year. I really like Micah Parsons. I'm a Penn State guy, but I've seen Micah Parsons plenty of times. The guy is a game wrecker. That's what Todd Bowles calls him, a game wrecker, a true game wrecker. That's what he is. That's what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to have to stop next week, by the way. And their offensive line's a mess. We'll get into this a little bit next week. I would not be surprised if Dallas comes out of Tampa Bay with a win because of that defense. But I can't go against Tom Brady either. I haven't made a pick for that game yet, but Dallas wins that game. It's going to be because of their defense. You can say what you want about Trayvon Diggs. He does make plays. I'd still target him, but Anthony Brown's a good corner. He's a good corner. He's a good number 2. Eagles fans are spoiled because they got Darius Slay and James Bradbury, but man, Anthony Brown is a pretty good cornerback. And he really helps Trayvon Diggs out a lot. I like the Cowboys defense. I really do. Eagles were busy yesterday. Miles Sanders is back in practice. I am not shocked by this, by the way. I'm not there every day like John McMullen, like a lot of the beat guys who I love to death. But I'm one of those people when Miles Sanders had the hamstring injury, I'm sure he was hurt. I'm sure he was hurt. But they had joint practices for 2 weeks. Why risk it? Why get him hurt? It's August. He's your number one guy. It's good sports talk radio fodder. It's good for this. Will he or won't he play week one? I think Miles Sanders is going to be out on the football field week one. I just do. And yesterday proved it when he was back at practice. The Eagles want to take it cautious with him. Am I concerned for the long-term health of 2022? Yes, absolutely. But I thought the Eagles would have him back by week one. But they did make a move at running back yesterday. I don't want to say it was a surprise because I thought they'd add a running back. They got Trey Sermon, third round pick of Ohio State just last year. Eli Mitchell beat him out, San Francisco. Raheem Mostert was ahead of him on the depth chart. A lot of people thought Trey Sermon was going to be like the next star running back for the 49ers because of Kyle Shanahan's offense. Well, never happened. He had like 35 yards this preseason. Kyle Shanahan literally said on Saturday they thought Trey Sermon had a great camp, yada, 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 significantly improved, going to be a huge part of our running back rotation this year. Yeah, you cut him. You cut him 3 days later. The Eagles got him off waivers. He's going to be on the 53 with Boston Scott, with Kenny Gainwell, with Miles Sanders. How's Trey Sermon going to fit? That I don't know. I think he's a good pass catcher back out of the backfield, which they need. And they need a kind of bigger guy. I think Trey Sermon helps you there. I don't think Trey Sermon's going to come in and light the world on fire. But I think anybody can run behind this Eagles offensive line. So maybe this is good for Trey Sermon. Gets to start light here, not getting a lot of carries, and build his way up. It's a win-win for the Eagles. If he stinks, you get rid of him. If not, you just got a third-round pick for pennies on the dollar, per se. Because another team got rid of him. Remember, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and he could be the Eagles' treasure. I'm not saying he's going to be their future starting running back, but he could definitely help this team in 2022 and beyond. And you get 3 years of him. So I like the move. They signed Michael Pirine too. He's going to be on the practice squad, but I do like the Trey Sermon move for Philadelphia. I think they're doing. Howie Roseman's done a really good job at just kind of plugging any leak he had on this roster: safety, running back, edge rusher, linebacker, you name it, cornerback. Some people will joke and say, "Oh, quarterback, Jalen Hurts." Jalen Hurts is going to be fine. Going to be fine. I haven't even talked about Jalen Hurts that much this week because I kind of get tired of talking about Willie or Rolling. We have all year to talk about Jalen Hurts. Andre Dillard. I don't trade assets because if you lose said asset, you're in trouble. Eagles are going to lose Andre Dillard for a period of time. I'll talk this to Rob Ellis in a bit, by the way. He's got a broken forearm. Yeah, I guess out indefinitely. I guess that's how the Eagles said it. But we got Rob Ellis in the building. Rob Ellis from Sports Take. He's going to be my guest today. We'll talk about Andre Dillard. We'll talk some Eagles. We'll talk some Giants. Talk some Cowboys. We'll talk some Commanders. I didn't even get to them in the opening segment. Right after this on Good Morning NFC East.